Is the unjustified absence of a spouse from the marital home for decades sufficient to establish psychological incapacity for declaring the marriage null and void? This shocking question reached the Supreme Court of the Philippines, challenging our understanding of marital obligations and psychological disorders. This jurisprudence is the latest decision of the Philippine Supreme Court, which was released last August 29, 2024. Don't miss out on crucial legal insights that could save your life someday. Subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking legal discussions and life-saving tips. This is the case entitled Leonora O, Dela Cruz-Lanuza vs. Alfredo M. Leonora O, Dela Cruz-Lanuza and Alfredo M. Lanuza, Jr. were married in June 1984. They had 4 children together, and their marriage seemed stable in its early years. However, as time passed, Alfredo's behavior began to change drastically. He started coming home late, sometimes not returning at all, and treated Leonora as just another occupant in their home rather than as his wife. Over time, he neglected his duties as a husband and father, failing to provide for the family and engaging in extramarital affairs. In 1994, after 10 years of marriage, Leonora and Alfredo separated. It was during this period that Leonora discovered Alfredo had remarried not just once, but twice, without their marriage being annulled. His first illicit marriage was to a woman named Mary Ann Macalintal in 1994, followed by another marriage to Jane Alejo in 2000. Despite efforts to confront Alfredo about his actions, he went absent without leave, AWOL, from his job as a police officer and could not be located. The only trace of him was through social media, where Leonora found evidence of his second marriage to Jane Alejo. Shocked and betrayed, Leonora filed a petition for declaration of nullity of marriage with the Regional Trial Court, RTC, of Caloocan City. She cited psychological incapacity as the ground for nullity, arguing that Alfredo was psychologically incapable of fulfilling his marital obligations. Leonora underwent a psychological evaluation, during which the psychologist diagnosed Alfredo, in absentia, with narcissistic personality disorder, a condition that, according to the psychologist, rendered Alfredo unable to comprehend or fulfill his essential marital duties.
Decision of the lower courts. The RTC denied Leonora's petition, ruling that the evidence she presented was insufficient to prove psychological incapacity. The court emphasized that under Article 36 of the Family Code, psychological incapacity must be grave, incurable, and existing before or at the time of the marriage. The RTC found that the psychologist's report, which was based solely on information from Leonora and her daughter, lacked credibility because Alfredo himself was not examined. The court further held that Alfredo's infidelity and abandonment, while morally reprehensible, were not sufficient grounds to declare the marriage void due to psychological incapacity. The RTC noted that psychological incapacity under Article 36 is not synonymous with mere refusal or neglect to perform marital obligations. Leonora appealed the RTC decision to the Court of Appeals, CA, but her appeal was dismissed on procedural grounds. The CA ruled that Leonora had filed the wrong remedy by submitting a petition for review under Rule 42 of the Rules of Court, instead of filing a notice of appeal. The CA upheld the RTC's decision, leading Leonora to elevate the case to the Supreme Court. Primary issue in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was tasked with determining whether Alfredo's prolonged absence, multiple marriages, and neglect of his marital duties constituted psychological incapacity under Article 36 of the Family Code, sufficient to declare the marriage null and void.
Decision of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Leonora, granting her petition and declaring the marriage null and void due to psychological incapacity. The court found that the totality of evidence presented, including Alfredo's prolonged and unjustified absence from the marital home, his multiple marriages, and his failure to provide for his family, demonstrated a profound psychological incapacity to comply with the essential obligations of marriage. The court emphasized that psychological incapacity under Article 36 is a legal concept, not merely a medical condition. It must be shown that the incapacity is grave, incurable, and rooted in a durable aspect of a person's personality that existed at the time of the marriage. The court also reiterated that psychological evaluations based on collateral information are acceptable, especially when the psychologically incapacitated spouse is unavailable or refuses to participate. The court concluded that Alfredo's narcissistic personality disorder, as diagnosed by the psychologist, was a deeply rooted condition that rendered him incapable of fulfilling his duties as a husband and father. This disorder manifested through his abandonment of his family, his infidelity, and his disregard for his children's welfare, which cumulatively constituted psychological incapacity. Thought-provoking question: if someone refuses to seek treatment or acknowledge their psychological issues, should this refusal be enough to declare a marriage void? How far should the law go in protecting the other spouse in such situations? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to save this video to your favorites. Underscore 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 underscore. Important doctrines of the case. 1. Psychological incapacity as a legal concept. The Supreme Court reiterated that psychological incapacity under Article 36 of the Family Code is a legal concept, not merely a medical condition. It is characterized by a durable personality disorder that existed at the time of marriage, making it impossible for the spouse to fulfill marital obligations. 2. Totality of evidence. The court highlighted that the totality of evidence, including behaviors, patterns, and expert testimony, is critical in determining psychological incapacity. Direct examination of the incapacitated spouse is not always necessary if sufficient collateral information is available. 3. Collateral information in psychological evaluation. The court accepted psychological evaluations based on collateral information from close relatives and witnesses when the spouse in question is unavailable or uncooperative, recognizing that such evaluations can still provide valid insights into the spouse's psychological condition.